Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by my two favorite Wednesday show hosts, Terry DeMantis.
Hello.
And Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
Terry, you tired?
Of course.
We should probably get right to it. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good.
I made, the new intro is shorter than the old intro. It gets right into the show real quick. And I realized that if you look at our progress screen, second screen has the disclaimer in it. There's no way anybody could read that disclaimer by the time the show starts.
Oh, right.
So I'm thinking about maybe extending it a little bit so it gives people more time to
They
read.
can pause it if they really want to read it.
Yeah, I guess they could. That's probably a good point. But it just occurred to me while we were starting up. I was like, that's not very much time anymore.
No, true.
So anyway, before we get into topics, why don't we go ahead and say hello to everybody in chat.
Okay. Over on Rumble, we have JB, we have Jack Gunsky, we have Kegadam, we have a lot of talking. There's THUR Alexander, lots more talking. Mr. Yes came in towards the end, and I think that might be everyone. If I missed you, I apologize. Let me know.
Jen.
Alrighty. And I start with Hammer. Hello.
Hello.
And Mike R. Hello, Mike. And Keep It In. Hello, Keep It In. And Rotten Corpse. Hello. And Mr. Yes. Hello. And hello, JB. Hi, Tier. Long time no see, Tier.
Yes. He was actually in the Rumble chat, but he was standing in the shadow, so you didn't see him.
And Mr. Yes says
if only he'd smiled, you would have known he was there.
He's still waiting for the new Pope. And yeah, I was going to make a joke about the new Pope being a bear woman, a black bear woman, so
No.
they're progressive.
The new Pope is obviously Trump. Didn't you see the AI photo that was made?
Made a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
Yes, there were.
They did do the black smoke, right? So they are picking him.
They did do the black smoke. I don't know if that means yes or no. I know that the smoke was black. That's all I know.
Yeah, one of the people who are up for the new Pope is a black man. So, and
I'm not against it if he's worth his salt.
I'll be honest. I don't care who the Pope is. It makes no impact on my life whatsoever.
He seems to be a respectable person. I don't know anything about him, but they say he has a lot of support. So good for him.
There you go.
I don't care what color he is.
I mean, I'm sure the people who are Catholic have far more investment in the outcome than I do. But yeah, I don't know who the candidates are. I don't know who would be good as Pope. I have very little information regarding such things.
The last Pope was really, I don't think you can do much worse. He was like having...
Yeah, I know he was very unpopular.
Yeah. Oh.
I just think he had a foot fetish.
See, this is something I always disagree with THUR on, because he says, no, he's an African man. To be black, you have to be American of African descent. Okay, what color is he then? If he's not black,
dark brown.
Yeah.
Whatever he is, I don't really care what his race is.
No, I'm just saying that's one thing that I firmly disagree with THUR on, because if he's not black, what color is he? What is he? Green?
He's magenta.
I think if you want to say African American as like the term for what THUR is referring to, that makes sense. But you don't have to be American to be black.
What is the least known color? Would it be puce? Does anybody know what color puce is?
Is that like pinky reddish?
It's like almost like skin tone.
Oh, there you go. So I guess I didn't know.
I'm trying to think of, everyone knows what maroon is. Burgundy has more purple. I'm trying to think of a color that.
Yeah, it is kind of a purple, dark red and purple brown.
Yeah, it's the difference between burgundy and maroon. Maroon's got more red. Burgundy's got more purple. The reason I know this is one of my previous girlfriends was a color coordinator for a fabrics company, so she knew all of them.
That would make sense.
This is teal. This is turquoise. I'm like, they're both green. It's like, no, this is green. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I don't really care.
But no, that's a joke from The Simpsons where Lisa is getting flyers printed out. And she's saying, "Give me 25 canary, 25 saffron," and then like going through them all, and like the guy says 100 yellow.
Yeah, there's some good colors out there. Canary's a good one. Canary yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my car is Millennium yellow, whatever the fuck that is. It's a real. I know it's a really deep yellow though. I mean, it's so confusing that cars, or I'm sorry, I almost said cars. Birds and insects think it's a flower.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty funny.
Birds, especially insects, try to land on it and mate with my car. They think it's a flower. They think it's a flower because of the bright yellow color.
No, I mean it's very funny. But
watching them trying to have sex with my, watching them trying to have sex with my fender is like,
yeah.
Okay, let's move it along. All right, that's not
just
very late.
Wash it down every time.
At least you assume that it's a female just because it's yellow. Anyway, so you want to go over the topics for tonight?
Sure. Real, I'm guessing, is a reference to you suddenly supporting the Madrid soccer team, as you would not know that it's pronounced Real Madrid, but I respect the effort. Probably just couldn't do the accent on YouTube. Strike, you are about to do some ironing, and the iron is now hot, so you are letting us know that you will be taking care of your clothing. Okay. And Houthis is unfortunately it's Houthis and the blowfish, so obviously a strong candidate for 8 next time we do the music.
Would you be in the band if you were one of the people who was a blowfish? Really, really? Maybe. Well, I'm not going to say that. Thank you also, by the way, for those people who follow both Terry and I on Twitter, which should be everybody, for straightening me out on what's going on with Shiloh Hendricks, right? That's the last name is Hendricks?
Yeah.
Yep, Jimmy's sister.
At the Shiloh Hendricks report today, she is at 744K. Coming up on 1 million.
Yeah.
And that's her goal. Her goal is to be a millionaire. Oh, it kills me. Man, white people. Anyway.
I think it makes sense. Because people are seeing this as like maybe like vengeance or sort of retribution for the
definitely retribution.
Caramello Koala guy.
Yeah,
it's a little bit that, but I also think it's hyped up imagery over the last 10 years where you do see a lot of Black people attacking other communities, not just white, but also like say Asian when they were going after the Asian hate shit. And you know, people see that build up and they get angry. And I don't agree with what Shiloh did. Monkey's not wrong. She's a piece of shit too for what she did. But at the same time, though, people are so sick of seeing that shit, but never really seeing what happens to those people afterwards. Or the legitimate thought that, yeah, a lot of them are just getting a slap on the wrist, if that.
No, I think the Black community has no grounds to condemn Shiloh. If they're giving $500,000 to a murderer, to then turn around and say it's very offensive that you're giving $500,000 plus to this woman who was rude, I don't think that's an argument they can win.
It makes you look like a fool.
It's one of those things that we've been warning about for a really long time, that justice that isn't met or is ignored will eventually have people brooding, which leads to them wanting vengeance. It leads to people wanting vengeance.
This is definitely retribution. There's no doubt about it.
I just wish it didn't actually go after a kid. Like when I read that, I was like, lady, I kind of wish you know, I would be frustrated with it too. Like I disagree a little bit with Monkey if the kid is 5 and autistic enough that it's clearly, you know, if he is all these things and it's such an issue, then no, I wouldn't be letting him go to the park by himself. Like
remember, this is not confirmed. We don't know if he really is 5. We don't really know if he's autistic. These are just the words of the guy who took the video. That's it.
I honestly don't think it matters whether he's autistic. I don't think it matters how old he is. The question is, should Shiloh have said what she said, which I can't repeat because we are no longer on Rumble, well, exclusively on Rumble. But obviously, it was not a nice thing for her to say. It was obviously racially motivated. I don't think anyone can reasonably argue otherwise. It is a horrible thing that she did, but it is not nearly as horrible as what Caramello Koala did. And if it's okay to give him $500,000, I don't think you can make the argument that it's not okay to give this racist woman $500,000 either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I label it as retribution instead of vengeance or anything like that, because you did that to them. Well, I'm going to do this to you. That's retribution.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't think she should have done what she did, but I don't begrudge the people donating to her campaign either.
Yeah, vengeance is you did that to him. I'm going to do worse to you. That's vengeance.
As V likes to say, the neighbor's goat should die too.
And I kind of do agree with Mr. Yes. She didn't have to say that. I do think she said it out of anger and lack of impulse.
Yeah,
but I don't like that. I wish that she hadn't done that. Like at the end of the day, regardless of the age of the kid, it's still an inappropriate thing to do.
Of course.
It's just, you know, it's one of those things where you wish the actual parent had been around so you could have had an adult conversation with another adult, because that's what you're supposed to do.
But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of hullabaloo about it, but I think it's a pretty simple situation. She was in the wrong, but I can't begrudge the fundraising either.
They're trying to make it a illegal act for her to use the N-word. Can you believe that?
Well, that's absurd. I mean,
I know. They're trying to get her arrested. A hate crime by using the N-word. Can you believe that shit? That's going to get more retribution if they continue with that kind of line.
Oh, yeah. I think there's definitely a lot of racial tension in America, well, most of the Western world, really, but especially in America. So this is only going to make things worse. It's going to increase tensions considerably.
For the record here, I don't think the kid is without sin. Like, no, I don't think he should be going into other people's bags. And I disagree with Monkey on that one too, because Monkey can still remember when he was 5, you know? And I remember knowing that it wasn't okay by the age of 5 to not go into other people's stuff. I did. Maybe it's because I had a sibling who would sit on me if I tried that shit. But yeah, I knew.
It was also handled wrong. This guy trying, and there's been a lot of questions about this, but it's been handled wrong. If I was there, if it was me, even if I had a camera, I would use the camera, of course, to protect myself. But I would have gone to her and said, hey, that's really not necessary. You shouldn't be doing it. Apologize to the kid. That's what I would have done. But he didn't. He's like, did you say it? Say it again. I want to get it on camera so I can make money too. It's like, man, you're just as much of a dick as she is.
Oh, yeah, no, the guy who filmed was a piece of shit as well.
He supposedly got charges on him for diddling kids too.
Terry's saying that if the 5-year-old kid is acting like that, then he is a word that I can't say on YouTube. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. I think that word is basically the same as arsehole or prick, or it just means person I don't like, but with a specific demographic in mind.
Yeah.
And so I don't think she should have said it just because of the culture in America attaches a lot of weight to that word. But in a vacuum, I don't think the word is all that bad. But in the culture of America, I understand that it carries a lot more weight than I think it needs to.
People will find or quickly evaluate what is the worst name they can call you that would bother you the most? If it was a
Mhm.
white kid who was overweight, she'd call him fat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whatever you're going to be sensitive about, that's what they're going to pick.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't really know if she's racist, because I don't think she picked black because she hates black people. I think she picked black because she knew that that would bother him the most.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's fair.
apologizing for her, so don't get me wrong. But I think that's more of what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I think she probably is racist. I don't really have any grounds for that, I'll admit. I can believe the accusation, but I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being racist. So,
Keyword says, I'm against adults insulting small children. I just want to make it clear again.
Yeah.
We don't know how old this child is. But we only have a word of a guy who's a pedophile saying how old this child was and whether or not he's autistic or not. There's no verification about it. And even the parents of the child have not spoken up about it. They've kept completely quiet. Somebody started a GoFundMe for them. They had it canceled. They want out of all of this. They don't want to be involved at all. So we don't really know how old he is. And I would think that the younger the person is, the less capable they are of understanding what he's talking about, and would hurt them less than someone who is 18 or 20. Calling them the N word is going to get a much different response than calling a 5-year-old that.
I think I think it basically just means jerk. Like it's got a lot of weight in America, which I have to like remind. I am aware of that. But in essence, it's just a generic insult. It just means person I don't like who happens to be black, in the same way that the other word I can't say on YouTube means person I don't like who happens to present as homosexual.
So the thing is here is like, I do agree with addressing the kid too. Like, yes, at a certain age, you do have to understand that, you know, sharing is only done when somebody is consenting to it. Like when they said, yes, you can share this with me. Now you have permission to pick it up or handle it. If the kid hasn't reached that point yet and he's just taking things, he is going to lead himself into worse things. And I'm not even his mom, and I can make that connection. I just don't agree with I understand the heated words. Like she's protecting a 2-year-old. You know, I get that this kid is 5, but hers is 2. She's got her own instincts as a mom, and if you fuck with, you know, you fuck with my kids, that's going to get heated too. But at the end of the day, you know, she's got to she's setting an example for both her own 2-year-old in front of her 2-year-old, and she's now addressing a 5-year-old. And maybe the 5-year-old has shit parents, and that's why they can't be bothered to watch out for their autistic kid if he's autistic. I'm just going based off of what's been alleged. I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just going with it. Let's just assume it is. But no, if you're so okay with your 5-year-old being by himself, being autistic, and you know, no, like there is a certain point where you do have responsibility for your kid, and he has a responsibility to himself, and that might mean not mean words, just stern words, like, hey, you're being a butthole. A lot of times when I was being an asshole, because all kids can be assholes. I've been there. We've been there. It's how you address it. Like, hey, you're kind of being a little bit of an asshole. You're being a bit of a thief. You know, it lets the kid know that, yeah, they are that, without like calling them that. You know,
address chat. Here is saying he's against thieves, be they small children or grown-up adults. Yes, obviously thievery is bad. I think the age does play a role in that, in that how you deal with a 5-year-old thief is very different to how you deal with, say, a 10 or even like a 15-year-old thief. All of those age ranges need different methods of reprimanding the thief. I don't have a problem with the N-word in and of itself, as I've said, but I can understand why it was taken the way it was. But yeah, no, I agree that the child should not be stealing. And Keith was saying adults shouldn't insult minors. Yeah, they should. Why not?
There's a black YouTuber who did a thing on this, and he went through it step by step. and said that, and he got a lot of shit for it because he said, first of all, the black kid stole from somebody else. And he looked at the camera and he said, and this is him saying it's not me. He looked at the camera and he says, I guess we're starting them early now.
Yeah. I
Man,
think
he got so much shit on Twitter.
yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
Oh, that he did.
And he's black, so I mean,
with regards to not insulting children, you can insult children. It's not nice, but I don't think there's any reason why children should be immune from insult.
you're much more of a free speech person than a lot of people are.
Yes, this is true.
Well, here's the thing. Like, a lot of times it's just misunderstandings when you're 5'2". Another thing that I remember as a 5-year-old, I was at a garage sale, and I was just playing with the toys, and I forgot I was holding it. You wouldn't think that, but you know, as a 5-year-old, it is kind of like you're dealing with a drunk midget. So yeah, as a 5-year-old, I forgot I was holding the damn thing. I walked down the block, realized I was still holding it, went back with it and put it back because I knew it wasn't mine. You know, like you have to give kids a little bit of wiggle room for like moments where they're not thinking clearly. Do I think that with this kid, if he was willingly going into somebody else's bag, that's a no. That should be addressed. Like, don't go into
But I think how you address it depends on the child's age.
Yes, and that's just it. That's just how you go about addressing it is night and day, and it would do so much better for both her and the kid. But that's not what happened, and I understand why she did what she did. I understand why the community is doing what they're doing, and if they want this stuff to stop, actually start addressing some of this stuff. Like,
Tira's just a little upset in chat, I think.
Yes. So JP, you're saying, what about the GoFundMe where she says she called the kid what he is? Yeah, like I said, I have no doubt that she is on some level racist. I just don't think being racist is that big of a problem, really. If the worst that you do with your racism is say words that are insulting, then I don't have a problem with that.
It's just, I find the better like racist terms from people of color. In all honesty, I have to pretend like I don't listen to Cryptic sometimes when I'm talking to him in a Discord, because if I were to repeat that out loud, I don't know, man. We don't have the license yet, but it's getting there, you know?
No, but like, if I were not on YouTube, I would have no problem saying the word that is, you know, so
you guys are
scary.
much different. You guys are much different than I am. I don't say those words.
Well,
but I think context matters. If I were to go up to Tier and call him that, like in anger, like Shiloh did to the kid, I think that would be very different than discussing it here, saying this is the word that Shiloh used against, you know, little Jamal or whatever his name is.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
You know, like young little hip hop. Okay,
his name was Steve, okay? Little kid's name was Steve.
And and earlier he said she doesn't deserve the money. Of course she does. She set up a GoFundMe and people gave it to her. It's her money. She deserves money if people give it to her.
You can disagree with why they gave it to her, but
it's also going back to the idea that they want to make that word illegal. I can't. Yeah, Jeremy said in chat is pretty accurate. That kid has probably been called that name by other black people before, more often than a white person doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
again, context matters.
He might not even consider it a slur. He probably heard it so often in his own community that it's not a big deal.
I do think context matters. If we replace the word with bigger so that I can say it on YouTube, if someone goes up to Tier and says, hey, bigger, and like they're just saying it as a friendly greeting, that is different from you stupid fucking bigger. That's totally different contexts there. I think how you say the word is relevant to how it should be interpreted.
Yeah, I think Feather has the appropriate middle ground in all this. I understand her being upset. The kid was stealing things, but I don't think it was necessarily a good call for calling them a slur. So that's,
Yeah,
I think that's where I'm at as well. I will never use that word, to be honest with you. Even, I mean, we've certainly been in chats where it's perfectly fine to say that. We have our Rumble pre-show where it's fine to say that. But even when we're in Rumble and we're allowed to say it, I still won't. And I do wince when you do. But it's perfectly up to you if you want to do it. I don't, you know, it's up to you. But when you do say things like that, I'm like, I don't like that.
No, like I said, I think context matters. How you say the word.
Even if you use it as an example, I still get the same cringe.
It's I guess that's part of the cultural difference, because I understand that in America the word carries far more weight than it does in Australia.
Oh yeah, our cultures are different when it comes to verbiage across the board. The C word for us is verboten. You know, how dare, that's almost as bad as the N word, especially to women. You guys say it as a matter of, hi, how you doing? Yeah.
But no, but my mother hates the word cunt, so I will make a point of not use. I will not use that word when I'm talking to my mother, because I know she doesn't like it. So I mean, I can be considerate of other people.
I knew that one would upset you. I was
gave me an N-word pass.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, there's certain words that you just, I'm just not comfortable using them. Maybe I'm because I'm old. I don't know. Different generations.
You don't have to use it. I don't think there's any problem with not wanting to say a certain thing. That's absolutely your right to say or not say whatever words you feel comfortable with.
I think it's my dad, because my dad was so racist that I've built up a negative to it, where everyone else would just tolerate it. But I've gone the pendulum has swung the other way for me. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with any of it.
I do think that's why a lot of people avoid it. It's not because we want to give the word power. It's just, it really is how it's being used. Like, I've laughed at it when it's been done in joking form. Like, I do follow Black comedians sometimes. They're funny too. So the N-word does crop up. But it's when you know that it's been used in a way that was meant to hurt, that you're like, I don't want to use it like that. Like, if I actually grew up with more Black people, maybe, or more Black kids, I would have more jokes in common with people that I could make that word fly in a way that's not hurtful. But a lot of the times that I've heard it, it was done in a way where you're like, I don't like you. You're just kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a long ass time ago. What you see nowadays is leftists justifying their own racism, because if they after the N-word, it's going to affect the Black community more, because how are they going to write that into legislation? You're not allowed to use the N-word unless you're a Black person legally in the US.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
I think I don't think who says it should matter, but I think the context of how you say it should matter. So if I go up to a Black person and say it as a friendly greeting, I think, and like with a friend, so like I'm saying it to TUES, for instance, I don't think that should be any more offensive than like anything else. But if I were to go up to a stranger and call them that word as an insult, I would understand if they punched me in the face or worse.
Also, I do agree with Jeremy Carroll on nothing is wrong with somebody actually being racist. I actually have that opinion too. At least they're being clear on where they stand.
I think it depends what you do with that racism.
Yes.
If the worst that you do is call people nasty names, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going around, burning
their cars,
lynching a certain demographic because you hate them that much, that is a problem.
There's nuance there. If you're the kind of person who is racist, then you're going to be doing things that you may not even recognize are racist and not be aware of it. You know, if people apply for jobs and you're in HR, you may not hire them.
No, but I actually think if you run a company, you should have the right to hire or not hire anyone for any reason. If you don't like Black people, I think you should be allowed to say, we are not hiring Black people. Or if you don't like Pepsi and you're like, anyone who walks in here and expresses pro-Pepsi sentiment, we're not hiring them. I think your hiring rules should be allowed to be as arbitrary as you want. It's your company. You decide who works for you.
I can tell you why I think that way too. It's It's actually stuff that I heard from other Black men too. Like, it's not like this conversation is new. And it was just like, well, at least you know where they're at. As long as they're limiting that to stuff like words, and yeah, okay, maybe
Yeah.
you don't get a job at their business. To a certain point, it doesn't affect you. You know, if it doesn't affect you and they're just at least being honest, at least that's something, because a lot of people just hide it. Or they hide it behind their virtue signal, which is why a lot of people, I think, are reacting the way they are, because.
And just to clarify, Jeremy is saying you would get sued into bankruptcy. Yes, you would. But I'm saying you should be allowed to. Not that you're currently allowed to. I'm saying you should be allowed to say, no, we don't hire whatever demographic for whatever reason. As my business, I don't want to hire them. I think you should be allowed to say that. You are not currently.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's a good business move. Not in North America, not where I live. Like, I would think that's a really daft idea. But,
it's a stupid way to run a business. But if you want to do that, you should have the right to run your business in that way if that's how you want to run it.
And I do understand the side of the woke that thinks that we're limiting ourselves in talent. And I have to tell them, I've never had an issue with picking a person of color over a white person. The thing I'm looking at is whether or not they're talented. If they're talented and willing to work with me, that's a goddamn honor, regardless of what color they are, because that means my company's going to do better.
It's funny how the ism changes depending on what the ism is. If you put up a marker on your gym and say, I don't want any white people in this gym, that's what? How dare you do that? But if you put that same marker and have it say male, well, that's okay. It's a female only gym. That's fine. You know what I'm saying?
And Red Feather gets me. She's take your Pepsi drinking ass out the door. Damn straight. I knew I liked you for a reason, Red Feather.
To give you an idea how much of a Boy Scout I am, playing NIN's Closer in Rumble just a few moments ago made me wince. I'm like, I don't know if I want to play that. That's a little too graphical. Yeah. And I didn't want to make Kira Dan blush. So
yeah, fair enough. And yes, Jeremy, that was a funny joke, but we're on YouTube, so I decided not to read it out loud. I did think it was fun.
So the poll is out. You guys who didn't get in on the Rumble didn't get to hear these 4 songs, so I hope you know what they are. But we didn't have an artist that we could get 4 songs out that we haven't already done with the letter N. So I had to pick. Usually I just pick random songs, but tonight I picked randoms that start with N. So
not Nice People with Attitude was not on the poll. Just so you know, given the nature of the discussion that we're having, I wanted to clarify that they are not on the poll.
Nightwish almost made it
in. Yes.
So Natasha Bedingfield, These Words, Nelly Furtado, I'm Like a Bird, NIN's Closer, and Nickelback's Figure You Out are the 4 songs for tonight.
6 is the controversial one here. Pepsi and Coke both suck. Remote control cola supremacy. So well, I've not tried remote control cola, but I understand that that's not actually what it stands for.
Soft drinks in general, especially carbonated ones, are shit anyway all the way around.
Yeah, well, probably you're not able to drink them without getting sick.
That's probably part of it. Yeah, I'm a nice tea guy. I fucking hate coffee too, so I get water or tea and that's it.
That does sound like it would be frustrating to have such a limited.
Well, I mean, lemonade. You know, I could fruit drinks in general. I could do those, like cherry, like high C and that kind of stuff. And orange juice. I could do orange, kind of acidic, but so I could do that kind of stuff. So there's options. If I get really sick of tea, there are options, but I really love tea. I literally drink tea all day, every day. No problem. Perfectly happy. So
you get used to it. It's kind of like coffee in that regard. Like when you really like coffee, you have to actually remind yourself not to drink too much.
It's everything I like about a drink. It's sweet, it's tasty, it doesn't put on a lot of weight, it gives you a little bit of a energy kick. It's awesome. It's the best of everything. And you don't burp all the time, and yeah. So
And
I love my
Johnny Hellcat says when W comes up, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to censored with, will not be on the poll. I'm assuming that's just fuck, but he censored it. Probably YouTube chat wouldn't let him say it.
Special thanks to Johnny Hellcat, our Tuesday host, shouting out the Wednesday host on his show last night.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, these people think I don't listen to their shows, but I lurk.
I lurk too. I know he switched days, so I figure if I lurk a couple days, I'll remember that. So it helps me with the routine change.
See, we got some votes this time. Last week votes was 9. So we ended up with 9, and we have 14 right now. So maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe picking a artist and 4 songs they did do is wrong. Why not just pick 4 artists with that letter?
Well, I think we might have to start doing that now anyway, because we're kind of running low on
what are we gonna
artists that have 4 songs.
Yeah, so, what are we gonna do for O? You know, not a lot of O's out there.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just do letters from now on, and just pick 4 songs from a letter. And if, like I said in Rumble, for those people who are losers who don't listen to the Rumble show, if you have a song in mind for a letter that we're doing, send me a tweet. I'll definitely.
You did offend Tier though, because
I'll consider it.
He shouts everyone else, and you did not thank him for it.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You shouted out Johnny Hellcat, but Tier is saying that.
Yeah,
he
saw
also
me.
shouted out everyone.
Yeah, it's because I just when they got done closing, I typed in "good night" or something like that. But they'd already shut the show off, so.
Oh, okay. No, I think the real reason is just that Tier is black, and we made our feelings clear.
You too. 15 votes. That's everybody who's listening tonight.
That's pretty good.
Everybody voted, except for me.
And there is quite a clear winner.
Is there? I haven't even looked.
Oh, yes.
The song that I was concerned about.
Yep.
You guys are all just Sex Pistols, every one of you. That song is so raw. That's so
you put it on the poll.
Yeah, it's not like I don't like it. It's just that, I like listening to the song, especially if my girlfriend's in the room. Because she'll stick her head in and look at me and smile, that kind of thing. But I've mentioned this before in the stream. I'm not sure if anybody remembers, but if a song has a good bass line, there's a 99% chance I'm going to like it. And that song has a great bass line. So, but if that song didn't have those words, if it had other words besides that, I would like it just as much.
And Tier, I'm sorry, but I don't think of you that way.
Tears literally putting in the lyrics. So
yeah,
just trying to make me feel more uncomfortable. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great song. You got to admit, you can.
It's a good song.
Obviously, it was a big hit, even though you couldn't play it on the radio. I don't think I ever heard it on any radio anywhere. Even censored, I never heard it on the radio. I mean, how could you play that on the radio? Like every third word is censored.
I guess it would depend on the radio station. I guess.
I want to bleep, you bleep, and you bleep, and you bleep. It all bleeps.
Well, that is so funny. In Guitar Hero, they actually do censor the songs. And one of the songs, I forget which Guitar Hero it was. One of the songs was Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a section of that song which is literally nothing but "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me" repeated. And they censored this song. So can you imagine what it's like?
You
listening to
won't tell you.
You, I won't do what you tell me. You, I won't do what you. It just sounds so ridiculous. Like, if you're gonna censor the songs, why pick that song?
Yeah. That's why I think games should just have ratings.
Jack's giving me.
You can have a Guitar Hero that's like age rated for children and one for adults.
Jack has given me songs that start with the letter O. We're looking for artists.
Yes.
That start with the letter O.
Yes.
Ooh Child is a great song, by the way. 1 Week is also. I have a version of 1 Week. I can't play it now because we're on YouTube. But I have a version of 1 Week that's a remix on it, and it's really good. I mean, every once in a while you run into a remix that you're like, damn, that's better than the original. It's close. It really is very good.
Very rare that it does happen.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just a orchestrative remix. So it's different instruments. So it's a little bit less, 4/4 beat. It's a little bit more interesting. So.
And Red Feather says they do play it on the radio, but they put silly sounds for the naughty words. I want to boing you like an animal.
That's even funnier.
Oh, that's great.
That's the clever way of getting around it, if nothing else. All right. Well, I guess
Red Feather says Ozzy Osbourne, which I think is probably too heavy for our outro. But
it is.
I love Ozzy Osbourne. Crazy Train is like one of my favorite songs. And
I'd be for that.
But yeah, it's probably too heavy to be used as like our outro. But just in general, yes, Ozzy Osbourne, great music.
I would have to come to you and have you give me his 4 top songs because I don't have any Ozzy and I don't know of any Ozzy songs.
Yeah, well, that's kind of it. I mean, I could come up with the 4 pretty easily, but
let me see.
Yeah, it's definitely not your kind of music. I think it's fairly safe to say.
I mean, I mostly know his stuff from the radio. I'm not.
Yeah,
I am the worst fan anyone ever has because if I could get most of it off the radio.
I think you could cheat and include Black Sabbath as the broad umbrella of Ozzy Osbourne if you really needed the extra songs. Like if you didn't want to only stick to his solo stuff.
Right. So 9 Inch Nails Closer.
Yeah. Not even close.
Was the choice for tonight.
Oh, YouTube has it on their playlist. Okay. That makes it easier. Dreamer, Mama, I'm Coming Home, No More Tears, Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, there's plenty.
I will just send this to you.
Someone did vote for Nickelback. So
that would be me.
Oh, okay. There you go. I did not vote this time. Didn't need to.
No, you did not.
No, that was a clean sweep. And I'm going to put this in here.
And yes, JB says Pantera would be way too hard for P.
Yeah.
I like Pantera, but yeah, we're not using them as outro music. I think that's a fairly safe bet.
What did we use for P? Last time we had P.
Peter Gabriel, maybe? Is that one of them?
Probably. Pat Benatar.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Before, scrolling. Oh, Prince.
Prince, that makes sense.
Yeah, Prince and Pat Benatar.
Yeah, Richard says Ozzy Osbourne has new songs as well, but she doesn't know the titles. Yeah, I haven't listened to like new music in a very long time, so I'm totally out of the loop.
But yeah, so we have O coming up next. So if you have a song or two, I will add them, send them to me on Twitter, and I will consider them. Correlate all the songs that are suggested, and if I don't get 4, I'll add ones that I think are appropriate. We'll mix them all up and put them in there. You may not get in, but send it to me.
And JB remembered that it was Prince in chat. He did mention that.
And if I use a song that you suggest, I'll make sure everyone knows that you were the one who suggested it.
Yes, so that they blame you and not him.
Right. It's all about getting rid of responsibility, man.
Absolutely. Red Feather says Peter Frampton. I don't really know much by him. I've heard the name.
God.
I don't know that many songs.
You don't know much about. Oh, that's my time. That's my music for my time right there. Peter Frampton's like dead in the center of when I was listening to music.
And apparently Jethro Tull, of all bands, is still making
Jethro
music.
Tull. Yep.
Yeah, wow, that's gone back a while.
Yep, that's my brother's music. 7 years my senior.
Red Feather doesn't use Twitter apparently, but says Offspring and Oasis, both of which are pretty good options for outro music.
We should probably write this down, shouldn't I?
Well, I mean, you should. You're the one who does.
Yeah, I probably should. Offspring. Yes. Is that the only suggestions we've had for O? Red.
I think so. Ozzy Osbourne, if you want to count that, but I don't know if that's too heavy.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and knock that out now. Oasis is probably out too, but definitely Offspring.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on chat, see if they come up with any other good
Thank you.
suggestions.
Okay. Oh, why am I yawning? You're the one that's supposed to be tired, not me.
It's contagious.
Well, we have all of 15 minutes left. You guys want to try one of our topics?
Just quickly, if we're only doing one song for the band, you can do Ozone and Dragostar Dinte, the Numa Numa song. There you go. That's another excellent suggestion.
I've never heard of it. Let me go back to the music poll. What was it called?
It's I forget. It's like some like Eastern European band. It's not even in English, but it's like it became very, very famous because some fat guy lip synced to the song while like waving his arms around, and it got known as the Numa Numa song because no one could speak like Romanian or whatever weird Eastern European country it came from.
Who was the original artist?
Ozone. O-Z-O-N-E.
All right, I'll listen to it. Something else.
Yeah, it's just like a pop song. It's very, very sort of poppy, and yeah, you can see why it like caught on. It's very catchy. Let's have a look and see what country it's from. Moldova. It's from Moldova. There you go.
So, topic for 15 minutes? We got
Sure.
15 minutes left?
So you're becoming a fan of Real Madrid. How's that going?
Close, but not quite. The Real ID identification protocol went into enforcement. So now if you want to travel, you must have a Real ID or a passport.
Okay.
And that's been since 2022. They've been trying to get everybody to move over to Real ID. And basically, if you have a driver's license within the last 2 years, you're already on Real ID because all driver's licenses being produced are Real ID driver's licenses. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but people don't want to because they see this as a step to making sure that you have to use your Real ID to vote.
I mean, I think you should have to show ID to vote.
Yeah,
I think it's absurd that you don't.
This is seen as a stepping stone because that's how things get passed in the United States. They tried to pass a bill saying you must wear a seatbelt when you're driving your car. And everyone said, no, not going to do that. And they said, well, you don't have to have, how did they get around it? They said, you have to wear your seatbelt, but if you're not wearing your seatbelt, we won't write you a ticket. And everyone was like, oh, okay, we'll do it then. And then like a year later, they said, oh yeah, we're going to start writing you tickets for it. So it was like, all right, I guess you got us. That's the same thing here. I think they're doing the Real ID, and then they're going to make it so that, you have to use it to vote.
Gusky says that this just in, black people no longer allowed to travel. I think they should amend that. One-way travel only.
You can travel as long as you have a white person with you.
No. You can travel as long as you don't come back. It's like you're allowed to leave, you just can't enter.
Well, I mean, if you're flying from New York to Texas.
Oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
if a black person leaves the country, that's it. You put up the sign, no diggers allowed, and they
just stop with that.
Get turned away at the border.
You're gonna get us a strike. They're gonna say that's close enough. I know, but YouTube. They'll probably get pissed about it anyway. It sounded like that.
Harry, no.
Yeah, so Real ID is going into enforcement. As I understand it, it has begun. I guess the 5th, I think, was the day that it starts. May 5th, and today's the 7th.
Okay.
So if you want to travel anywhere in the United States, if you want to get on a commercial flight, you have to have a Real ID or passport. I have a passport. I could give shit about Real ID. So none of this bothers me at all. Even so, you know, I won't have any problems getting Real ID. I don't care. But I can understand what the backlash is here, because Democrats see it as a first step.
Right.
And it probably is to some extent. It probably is a first step.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Sure.
But no, just in general, I do think you should need ID to vote. I think it is utterly absurd that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you don't even need it in Australia, which is like, I could just go and say, my name is Mr. Hammer, first name Wonton, yes, and I'd like to vote. Yes, Theo Hammer. But like, because I had to vote recently, and I just told them. Admittedly, I did have to give my address, so that was sort of like at least some verification that I'm who I say I am. But just name and address, like I could pretend to be my cousin or my any family member if I wanted to like steal their vote. It'd be very easy as long as I know their address.
Well, the Minions have a meetup that they do every year, or try to do every annually kind of deal. And I've considered going that once my health gets to the point where I can travel. So I might get to a point where I would get on an airplane to meet up with everybody else. It's Quiz and Adam and Sanguine, and I think Eve was at one, and a bunch of people. And they're just kind of camping and hanging out. And I was thinking, I don't think anyone there really hates me that much. I could probably go without getting beat up. So
yeah, I think it's a bit too much of a commute for me. I don't think I'll be going.
Well, I mean, just interstate's not a big deal. You know, if they were meeting in, you know, Tanzania or something like that.
Yeah. If they were meeting in Queensland, I'd go. If they're meeting in, you know, America,
Perth.
That's a bit far.
Well, Perth too. I mean, you're going across the country. That'd probably be
even Perth is like 4 hours by plane, maybe
That's
6.
not bad.
I don't know. But like America would be 24. Is a bit of a difference in distance.
Yeah. I swear, if I can continue to improve with my health, I'm going to make it to Australia at some point.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I really would like to be there. There's like I think I've mentioned before, there's 2 countries I would die to go to. Scotland would be one of them, and the other, because from Scotland I can hit Ireland and
yes, I mean
Europe.
That area in general, the countries are all quite small. So if you go to Scotland, you can see Wales and Ireland and England, and like all of the UK is like pretty close together.
It's walking distance
in terms of travel.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel that I follow. They're British people who their channel is about visiting other countries and how other countries work and do things and how things look and what kind of experience they have, and they walk you through every day and that kind of stuff. And they were very exasperated about the fact that they had to take an Uber everywhere because you can't walk anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, if you want to do that, man, you're going to come here, rent a car.
Yeah. I mean, in Australia, distances are long. If you're used to what they have in England, you'll be amazed at how long you have to travel just to get anywhere in Australia. Because
this is the reason why they can do trains so much, because everything's fairly close.
But that was funny when I went to England and like to meet a bunch of friends from like an online game, because my mum and stepdad were living in England at the time, so I was like going to visit them, but also while I was there, I went to meet these people, and you had people complaining, "Can you believe I had to travel an hour to get here?" It's like, yes, I can. I mean, I traveled an hour each way to go to work for a while. I traveled that far to go to university. Is like
that's normal here.
That's absolutely standard. I
understand. You have to travel. You have to drive like 30 minutes to get to the train that will take you to the city. Things are big here.
So there's an app where you can legitimately cut out different land pieces just to measure how many of them it would take to recreate a space. So when I'm talking to people from England, that's what I do. I tell them to use this app, and then how many Englands do you need to fill in Australia?
It's like an entirety of Europe can fit inside Texas, you know.
Yeah, Gunsky would like to visit, but it would last one day and be incredibly awkward. Maybe I think we could find stuff to talk about, but just in general, I think yeah, it would probably be a bit awkward to meet up someone that you've only known online.
There's a stat that if California seceded from the Union, it would be the 6th largest economy on the planet.
I can believe that.
And Texas is 7th. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something, I guess a lot of people would feel a little interested. I mean, I'm sure that Adam and Sanguine and Quiz, they've all appeared on camera, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So they all know what they look like.
I've been on camera very briefly. Kefki wanted to know what I look like, and I was like, sure, next time I'm on stream, I'll show my face. So yeah, there's one minion stream, I don't know how long ago, but my face is on camera very briefly if you want to go digging through the archives.
Jen's been on camera too, right, Jen?
Well, I've done that a couple times. I try not to too much though.
Jen's a cutie patootie, by the way. I've never been on camera. I don't even have a camera on my computer. I don't even literally don't have a camera in my house except for the one that's sitting on my server. So that's on the other side of the house.
I don't have a camera on the computer that I stream from, so I can't show my face, like even if I wanted to. But if I stream from my laptop, it's got a built-in webcam, so I could
there you go.
Turn that on.
So no one's ever seen me. No one's ever seen my girlfriend. No one's seen my house or anything like that. I just don't have a camera.
I think it's a good idea not to show the faces of like your close friends, family members, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like just if you want to show your own face, that's one thing. But I'm always uncomfortable when they're like, and this is my wife, and like she's like trying to hide her face and is clearly embarrassed to be on camera.
Well, Jen's phobic. She won't talk on the microphone. She won't do anything. She doesn't even have social media. Any social media, no, except for an email address for work. And that is, she has no personal email. And I have kind of shown a little bit because there was a whatchamacallit, a deer, because I live kind of in the woods, and there was a deer outside my kitchen bay window, and I took a video of it walking around outside the front of my house and posted it on Twitter. So you saw some of the bay window, that's about it, but you didn't see the kitchen. I was close to the window.
Okay.
But you did see kind of what my house looks like out the front. It's just a bunch of trees because I'm in the woods.
Six is spoiling the surprise. He says Terry looks like a cartoon foot. Thanks for doxing me, jerk.
A bloody cartoon foot. Your original cartoon foot wasn't bloody though, was it?
Nope, it was just the Monty Python thing. It was like taken directly from Monty Python, and then Kefki drew me the zombie foot for Halloween, and I just kept it.
Dan, you've been using your flower a lot lately.
Yeah, I like it.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people respond well to it, so I'm like, okay, well, you know.
That's your creation. That's not a Kefki.
No, Blue made that one for me. I sent him a picture of my provincial flower, and this is what he came up with. So, yeah. I was trying to promote his work, even though he's working with his dad. I think he's a lot better at graphic designing.
No, I think it's good to like share people's work if you like what they're doing. That's why on Twitter my bio has a link to Kefki. So like if people see it and they go, oh yeah, that's a cool foot, it's like, oh, Kefki drew that, so they can go ask her to do art and give her money.
That's legitimately why I hooked the two of them up, because I kind of thought between the two of them their exchange of art would
And Tia has discovered the secret. My foot is the one that you no longer have. So your diabetic foot has become me from the sounds of it.
It is kind of on the undead side coloring. Should be Rotten's thing. Rotten Corpse. That should be his foot.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes more sense. We are at 10 bells, and before Keyboard yells at me for going too long. You guys have anything else before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
I just want to get this out of my system.
Good.
But the chances of that strike, what are the chances that the Durkas are going to go to war?
I was so hoping that you were going to say, "I've just got to get this out of my system," and then say the word that I'm not allowed to say.
Don't do that.
On YouTube.
It's just a yes or no. Like don't stretch it out because
they're going to go to war, but I think Trump's probably going to get involved.
Okay.
That was the number 2 thing. The strike was India and Pakistan going to the next stage of engagement, and Houthis was Trump forces the terrorists to stop attacking. For those people who are not seeing our notes.
And,
sorry, I watched Asmon's
very racist. Rodney's being very racist in chat. Have a good night, folks. That's uncalled for, dude.
Don't do that. What were you saying, Jen? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I watched Asmund Gold's response to it, and I was just kind of like, can everything be like, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we could have got to it, we could have got to it, but I was having more fun anyway. So.
Oh, that's okay. It's not like it's ended. Like they're.
No, I'm sure we'll probably be able to talk about it next week. I think it's gonna be ongoing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the new war on the market now. So
yeah,
we're number 3. I think Trump's gonna get involved in this one pretty quick. We'll see what happens though. All right.
See you later, guys.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening except Thursday, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 6 days a week. Host and start times linked in the description down below. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream has cool music and starts generally half an hour before YouTube. Oops, wrong button. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.